Hello everybody and welcome to Board Game Inquisition, where we're here to offer you insight and information into your board games. Now, unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, you may know that the world's biggest board gaming convention is happening next week in Essen in Germany. It's a 4-day event where there are lots of new releases, and I'm fortunate enough to be going for one day. I'm going on a budget, but I'm really excited about it. And lots of people have been making their kind of Essen wish lists and whatnot, and so I thought I'd share with you the games that I'm focusing on acquiring while I'm there, just so you could hear about it, or maybe it'll give you something to think about for your own Essen shopping list. Now, unlike most people, I'm not just going to list a couple of games and say these are the ones I think are interesting, because I've put a bit more thought into it than that. So I actually have 3 parts to my wish list, and I'll go through them separately. The first section is games I really want and have to have. Okay, makes sense, right? That's what you should be doing when you're going shopping, right? My second list is a list of kind of older games, ones that are kind of hard for me to acquire here that I would have to trade for or something like that, because I think a lot of the newer releases at Essen will become available in retail pretty soon, right? You'll be able to buy them in shops. So I kind of wanted to make sure I focused on games that I can't acquire easily, and to kind of take advantage of the opportunity. So that's my second section, is older games. My third section is new releases that I'm interested in, but will only come after, if I have any money left or anything like that from the second-hand market. Maybe I'll find nothing. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect here, but we may as well go in hopeful. And then I'll share that with you. So kind of, the lower tier of new releases that I was excited about. So yeah, that's all a bit elaborate perhaps, but you gotta plan and be prepared. So okay, so let's start with the games I really want. And they are in no particular order. So we're gonna just start with Coimbra from Egbert Spiele. So Coimbra is this beautiful Euro game, and it's a game I had my eye on before the new kind of re-skinning and re-release. So it was really high on my list when I heard about it first. I'm also a fan of Euro games and making it nice and pretty. All good stuff, right? Second on the list is Azul Stained Glass of Sintra from Next Move Games. So the debate always went down, whether they should have Azul or Sagrada. It now seems like you don't have to decide anymore. So it seems to be a stained glass version of Azul. I'm not really sure what to expect with this. I know we enjoy Azul. I know when Azul first came out it was difficult to get a copy of it here, so hence why I thought I should pick up this, it's not quite an expansion, the new version of Azul, while at Spiel. So excited to try that out. Third is kind of something very exciting, which is Concordia, the Venus expansion. Those of you who know me know I love Concordia. It's a fantastic game. I did a review of it. And there have been good expansions and map releases for it so far. This expansion, however, seems incredibly unusual. Firstly, it allows for 6 players. I guess that's a good thing. And the fact that you can have team play. Not really familiar with a Euro with team play. It sounds really bizarre to me, but I'm dying to see how it's implemented. So really looking forward to that. That's Concordia Venus. Next on my list is Symphony No. 9 from Moedas Games. I horribly mispronounced that. And this is the one to do with composers. It looks incredible. I really like the theme, and I really like the gameplay, how through the life of your composer, how their popularity kind of wanes and waxes. And I really think it's something refreshing, and it looks really fun. So that's on my list. Second to last, well, most people probably have this first and watch me butcher another name. So Teotihuacan, City of Gods, from NSKN Games. Most people will have heard of this by now, I'd say. Pyramid game, it's got a roundel, Euro game. These are all words that trigger happy thoughts in my brain. I'm kind of obsessed with roundel games. And we do love us a good Euro, and good things have been heard about it, and I love how it looks. So really kind of excited about that one, along with, everyone else on the planet. And then in last place. So the last section I'd like to talk about actually is Walking in Burano from Emperor S4 Games. This isn't their only release for Essen Spiel. Those of you who follow along with me will know they're also releasing Realm of Sand and Discovery Era Voyage, both of which I have done reviews for in the past week or so. I'll put the little thing up above so you can check those out. So the only one of their new releases I've not played is Walking in BURANO, and I really like that they have a game, BURANO itself. It's a heavy Euro game. I've also reviewed that. And this seems to be kind of a light kind of version, a card version, where you're kind of looking for things in your cards as you play them. It's really colourful, it's really bright and really pretty, and of course I'm attracted to it. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the Emperor S4 releases. A quick note about Realm of Sand, it's probably the best puzzle game I've ever played. Reminds you a lot of kind of patchwork game, just taken to another level, really good stuff. And Discovery Era Voyage is a trading game. It reminds me a lot of something like Century Spice Road, where you move one thing to another place to upgrade it. It's very small but very, very fun, and they're both incredibly pretty. So if you have any interest in either of those, you can check out the review and see kind of the full explanation. But I do recommend you check out the Emperor S4 stand if you get a chance when you're in Essen. And oddly enough, I'm not a spokesperson for this brand. I know I talk about them a lot, but I just really enjoy their games. That's honestly the truth. Okay, so that's the first batch of this wish list. These are the need games, as I call them. So this is the second part of the list, which are games I'm looking to acquire secondhand or are older games. And the first one I question if it's really an older game or not, but it's not one you could buy normally. So first on this is Dinosaur Island. This is one I nearly backed on Kickstarter. I got so close to backing it on Kickstarter and then backed it. I wasn't sure if we'd have people to play it with. And the more I see of it, the more I regret this decision. So I'm heading to Essen in the hope to find a copy of Dinosaur Island from Pandasaurus Games. Hopefully they'll just have copies for sale. That would be good. So that's the first one. The second version, where we go back in time a little bit, is Marco Polo from Z-Man Games. It's another kind of dice management game, but it's one I've had my eye on for ages. There's two of them actually that go together, which is, so I'll list the next one, which is Orleans from Tasty Minstrel Games. So both it and Marco Polo I've wanted for ages, because a lot of people seem to really enjoy them. And you know when you've heard a lot of good things about a game and you're like, that really looks like something I'd enjoy. I've been trying to get a secondhand copy of these for a while, so I'm hopeful I should be able to find them possibly in Essen. And then second to last on this pile is Kanban from Stronghold Games. Now Kanban is a Visarda game. I only have one so far, which is of course Lisboa, and I'd like to add to my collection. This one apparently has a roundel. There's an older version, but they've just released a newer version, so I'm hoping I'll be able to find one or the other, because I'd really love to try it out. And then the last game I'm hunting for, this seems really unlikely and possibly ridiculously impossible, but I'd love to try and get a copy of Rococo from Egbert Spiele, which is the game about, as far as I'm aware, about dressmaking and lords and ladies in a kind of economic action point dealing. I'm not describing this very well. I read up on it last night, but I can't remember all of it now. But I love the theme. I love the idea of kind of dealing with that kind of society of lords and ladies. It's out of print, so the chances of me finding it slim to none, but sure, I'll throw it on my list and see. Forever the optimist when it comes to board games. So that's the older games I'm going to hunt for. So then we come into what I call, if I come across them and I have money, I'll pick it up section. And most of these are newer games as well, but they're ones that didn't quite make the top tier list. Money's super tight, people, so I had to really narrow everything down. So these are the kind of the things I wish I could have kept on the main wish list, but you know, had to be relegated just a tad. So first on this pile, yet again, none of this is in order, is Architects of the West Kingdom from Renegade Game Studios. Now, it's a worker placement game. It looks pretty great. It's made by the same people who do Raiders of the... I keep want to calling it Raiders of the Ark, but it's Raiders of the... See, look at me with my terrible titles. I don't know, we're not mad about Viking themed games here, so we never tried that series out. However, this seems something a little bit more up our alley, you know, with this, so I'd be very interested to try it out. So that's Architects of the West Kingdom. The next one is Ceylon from Ludonova Games, and this is a game about making tea, and it's gorgeous. It's stunning, and so I'd really love to get to know some more about it and see. The gameplay seems like something we'd really enjoy, so that's another one to add to the list. Now, most of these games, as you've noticed, I don't know a whole lot about them, and I do this on purpose because I don't want to know everything about a game when I acquire it. I want to know enough to go, okay, this is something I think I'll enjoy, but I kind of like uncovering most of it myself. It's the reason I don't really watch kind of playthrough videos or stuff like that. I want to do that, you know, me. I think it's part of gaming. It's just not something I enjoy. So I know enough about these games to go, yes, I think I'd like to try them out, but not so much that I could be certain of that in its exacting. Okay, so my choice for the Stefan Feld game released this year is Forum TRATANUM, which is from Stronghold Games. And I like this, I think, more because Stefan Feld also released Carpe Diem, but I think I just like the idea of Romans. Maybe Concordia finally got me and spread enough Romans, but Romans, Eurogame, Stefan Feld, that's just a fabulous combo, isn't it? So that's our pick for that. The second to last now is Newton from Cranial Creations. Now, I know Newton was really big at Gen Con, and for a while I heard it was this really heavy Euro game, and I was super intrigued because, I don't know, I'm kind of obsessed with heavy Euros. And then, you know, other people were saying, well, actually, it's a lighter Euro game. And then I was just as intrigued because a Euro game that doesn't take, you know, an hour or two to play could also be really exciting. And I really liked the idea of the theme of Newton. So that's why it's there. Last pick on my list is Orbis from Space Cowboys. And I think we like this here because it reminds us of a game like Viceroy. It's a tableau builder where you're connecting colours to acquire things. Other people have done reviews of it and I've seen those, and I don't know if I'm 100% sold, but my husband is, so you know, this was his pick. And I'm cool with that. I'll play most things. But that's why that's there. And as a bonus point to put down at the end here is Raccoon Tycoon is going to be available from Forbidden Games. And it seems like no time ago that was on Kickstarter, but it's an economic game with furry animals. So I might go and pop by and check that out. I'd be excited to learn a little bit more about it. Okay, so I've made it through the 3 levels of purchasing. And if that's all you wanted to hear about the games I was going to pick, you probably should shut off now. But what I thought I'll do a little bit, and might be a bit helpful, is the ways I've kind of set this up to try and save myself some money when I, you know, going board game shopping. Because clearly this is a big event. If you're a fan of board games, like, you know, we all are, being surrounded by tons and tons of shiny new games and stuff, you know, your money might end up going places you hadn't necessarily intended, right? And we all fall prey to that. But if, like me, you're on a budget, I've done a couple of things to try and keep myself on the straight and narrow, as they say, and to make sure that I come home with games that I really, really wanted. So I've got kind of 5 tips for this. Maybe this is obvious stuff, I'm not entirely sure, but you know, maybe it'll help somebody. So my 5 tips for saving money on board games at Essen, and no, none of these, you know, mean asking for a discount. So my first thing is to make a list of exactly what games you want. Now, there's like 1,000 or more games after being released. This is no easy feat, but I do recommend the Tabletop Together tool. It has been completely invaluable in helping me sort through the games I want. You can list them under a need, want, maybe, you know, like or ignore. It's a good way for filtering through all of the games, but I definitely recommend making a list of the games you have to have, right? Start with those, and that will help you kind of keep focused on the day. The other thing to think about, point number 2, is don't focus on games you can easily get later. Now this list, when I first put it together, my need list was full of expansions. I wanted the expansions for Isle of Skye, I wanted the expansions for Terraforming Mars, and there was a whole bunch of other expansions I had on the list, and the only one that's remained is Concordia Venus. And the problem I had with this was, when I was like, so I'm just going shopping for expansions, is that those expansions will be available in shops later. I don't need to get them right now. Essen is a unique opportunity to get very specific or very unusual games, and I didn't want to narrow my search into things I just wanted. I wanted to have room to be able to, you know, think bigger. So all of the expansions went off of my list, and hopefully, you know, I'll acquire them as time goes on. But I recommend that you do the same thing. If you can, you know, buy it when you get home, why buy it there? Why not buy something else and you know, and get what you wanted later, because it's going to be around, right? Okay, so my third point is set a budget and a price limit for what you're willing to pay for games. And this is particularly apt when it comes to those kind of second-hand games, right? So know how much money you're going to spend before you go. In many cases, you can pre-order games or prepay for games. I know I've done that with Symphony No. 9, so that's one less thing to worry about when I get there. And it makes it easier to see, you know, where all of your money is going. Also, it means that you won't get stuck at the fair with no money left and not being able to buy a particular game you'd really wanted. So if you know exactly where your money is going before you go, it'll kind of help keep everything together and make sure that you don't miss out on anything. Now, the price limit for what you're willing to pay. So I've not been to Essen before, right? So I'm speculating, and I'm basing this on kind of what I'm reading from other people. But a lot of people say that you don't really get games much cheaper at Essen, just that there's more readily available. So I set a price limit. So if I was to buy something in Essen that's the same price as a game at home, I'm probably not going to buy it because there's a hassle with getting it home from Essen. It also means I could just spend that money on something I couldn't have bought at home. But, you know, it goes back into that can you get it locally in your shop idea. And so that way as well, it'll help you put together your money and keep it for, you know, good games and things you really wanted. Okay, so point 4. Make a plan for on the day. Sorry, I have to read this off my list. Acquire what you need first, then go browsing. So yeah, does anybody else make plans? I have printed out my floor plans. Might be a bit shiny in the light. I have highlighted where I want to go. And I have them highlighted by colour, so all the red ones are the games I needed. And my strategy is I'm going to go and buy everything I really, really wanted first. So then I got it, I've put it out of the way, and then whatever money I have left I can spend on kind of frivolous things or, you know, stuff I might spot, rather than wasting it, and that way I guarantee I get the games I really wanted. I definitely recommend planning your trip, seeing where all the stands are and when you kind of want to get there. Now, this may not matter so much if you're there for 4 days. Right, I have to condense everything into one day, so it's really important to me. And I'm going to be posting home all of the games I bought. There's actually a post office on site, so for me it's a little bit more important to get what I want, get it posted and done out of the way, because I can't carry things around the hallway. Some people are bringing trolleys, and those are wise people. I wish I could bring a trolley on the plane with me, but I cannot. But it is something to think about, you know, when you're getting your games, and making sure you get the ones you want first, so then you can, it doesn't, you know, then you don't miss out basically. And the last point, and that's one comes up already actually, is pre-ordering some games from home might save you hassle. So if you're, you know, for instance, Coimbra is out right now. It's on my shopping list, and I was going to go buy it in Essen, and my husband says, well, it's on the store right now, why don't you just pick it up? And so I did. So I've Coimbra, I have a bunch of things actually I picked up that I was going to buy at Essen that I was able to buy here that were roughly the same price. So we got Clans of Caledonia. A lot of these are on my older lists. We got Spirit Island. Notice that they're still in shrink wrap. Thank God they're still in shrink wrap, or I just murder everything. Heaven and Ale, that's another one that's been on my list, and it was just really, really cheap. And then of course, last but not least then, is Coimbra. Now, I've not opened mine, and the reason I've not opened them is because when I get back from Essen and I won't have my games with me because I had to post them, I want to have something nice and new and shiny to play with. And while I set up a Twitter poll and asked people should I open them, and most people said I should, I'm holding out for as long as I can just to have that feeling when I get home of, oh look, you know, new games. So this has has been my approach to Essen. It's probably a little wacky and a little crazy, but you know, and it's my first time doing this. But if any of you are going, please do come and say hi to me. I would absolutely love to, you know, get to know you guys and have a chat. Also, I will be doing a video log of the entire day, which I'm terrified about because my camera is really heavy in my hand, but I'll do my best. I will also be interviewing White Wizard Games, which I'm super excited about. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask them about any of their products and stuff, let me know. That would be pretty cool, actually. And until next time, when, you know, Board Game Inquisition goes on their big day out, I'll be here playing games, asking questions, and being very nervous and very excited about Essen Spiel 2018. Take care. Bye.